Steve talking to us from Nebraska. Steve, thanks for waiting on the line with us. You are live on Truth Wanted. What's going on?
Yeah, hi, Dan and Elliot, and hi, y'all. Happy weekend, everyone, and thanks for allowing us this opportunity to discuss evidence that directed energy transmissions generated by an alien civilization may have been detected coming from around a sun-like star around 100 light years away. This, according to NASA scientist Richard Stanton, who conducted a multi-year survey of 1,300 sun-like stars for optical SETI signals. One such signal consisting of two fast identical pulses has been detected around the sun-like star HD 89893, and another similar pattern optical signal was also detected around sun-like star 51 Pegasi. A detailed analysis of these alien laser signals have been published in a research paper titled Unexplained Starlight Pulses Found in Optical SETI Searches, recently published in a journal titled Acta Astronautic.
Okay. Well, just based on the title, obviously I haven't read it. Sounds like they're saying that they're unexplained pulses, but you obviously believe that they're extraterrestrial in origin, right?
Well, that was one of the paper, and anybody can look this up. It's called Unexplained Starlight Pulses Found in Optical SETI Searches. The paper ruled out a lot of the natural explanations. Like they ruled out it being from the signal being from planes or birds or satellites or asteroids or a lot of the natural explanations they would have had been ruled out.
Steve, real quick though, if they had ruled in as the only explanation aliens, they probably would have labeled it that way, right? They probably wouldn't have said unexplained, right?
Well, he has in his paper, one of the explanations could be lasers from a technologically advanced extraterrestrial.
Could be one of the explanations. But what reason do we have to pick that one? Steve, hang on. What reason do we have to pick that one over the other possible explanations? And if we don't have any good reason to pick any one of these different conclusions over the others, isn't it just better that we leave it a mystery until we know for sure?
Well, it's the best explanation that we have. I mean, it's not a bird, it's not a plane. Therefore, it's aliens. I mean,
what if it's a mistake?
Explanation.
What if it's a mistake, Steve?
Yeah, why is it the best explanation?
Well, that's the signal they picked up totally matches what they'd expect if it were a signal from lasers or some kind of a directed energy transmission. The signal just seems to match up with what we would see if this was from. Now, I'm not saying it is aliens. They did say there could also be from gravity waves, like from atmospheric disturbances, is another possible explanation. But I think this one would be seems more likely, right?
Well, I don't know. You just said it could be gravity waves. Like, I don't know. It seems like there's already other. Look, again, I can't comment on a paper I haven't read, but why do we have to go to aliens? You know, like, out of all the explanations, it seems like aliens are your number one thing on this. And I don't know why it always seems to be aliens as your top. Like, it could be. I'm not even saying it's not, right? I'm not saying it's not. How can I know? But why aliens first? You know, is it reasonable to jump to that conclusion first?
Well, this isn't the only evidence that we have for extraterrestrial intelligence and extraterrestrial civilization.
Real quick, Steve, I'm so sorry to cut you off, but real quick, because I really like that question Dan just asked, and I would love for you to explore that just a little. Okay, we're not talking about any of the other evidence that we may or may not have, right? We're just talking about this one piece that you presented. Dan was pretty clear. He's like, hey man, look, you even recognize that there's all these other options. Why should we then go to aliens first? What's the determining factor there for this piece of evidence?
Yeah. We can't make a cumulative case.
Aliens. I'm rooting for them. I mean, I hope that that's the explanation.
Okay, so you're okay. So that's great, Steve. I love that,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You basically just said, "Hey guys, honestly, I kind of just want there to be aliens out there."
Yeah.
Dude, I totally get that. I kind of want aliens to be out there too, right? But if the way that we live our lives is one where we are assessing data mainly coming to conclusions based on just our wants and desires and not what the actual information is, I really think that's problematic. I think that can lead to a lot of harms. And I think honestly, you and I could come up together with a bunch of different reasons why that's not a great system. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I know I have to learn to overcome my confirmation biases, but it's really hard.
Man, it's hard for me too. Fuck yeah, Steve. I totally agree with you, dude. Like, it is hard. It is incredibly, incredibly difficult. Especially, by the way, it can be difficult when other people kind of suck when you get stuff wrong. That happens, right? And like it hurts sometimes, you know. You genuinely think you're correct and you're just trying to do the right thing, and then, you know, somebody says something and it's like, wow, fuck, okay, maybe I am a fucking idiot, you know. But I do think there is a way to really, really squish down those confirmation biases. I don't know that we can get rid of them completely though, man, but I think we can do a really good job of squishing those down to as minimal as possible. Now, that does kind of seem like it takes away some of the fun stuff in the world, right? Like maybe, okay, aliens aren't real. Maybe ghosts aren't real. You know, maybe some of this cool stuff isn't, you know, actually the case anymore.
Yeah.
But I actually think the real world is even fucking cooler, Steve. Do you know about bioluminescent sharks?
Yeah. Or even this, like, I'll put this.
I guess in the water. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think that's the case. I don't. But I'm just guessing. I don't fucking know. He's on some crazy shit with some bioluminescent sharks. But listen, I once talked to a caller, Steve, who was convinced that demons were real, and his reason for this was because of the stories that people had about their demon possessions and how many people that were hospitalized for mental illness talked about demons possessing them and things like that. And so he laid this out as, look at all these cases, these cases where demons could be the explanation for this to happen. How could so many people say that they're demons if it wasn't the case, right? And I think this kind of thinking with the alien thing is kind of similar in a way, because it's such a commonly accepted cultural explanation and a cultural expectation that we can kind of read into that and maybe kind of force the answer when it doesn't have to be there. I'm assuming you don't believe in aliens, Steve. Not aliens, sorry, demons, Steve, and I don't either.
Yeah,
but I think
believe in aliens. No, I do believe that demons are like a chemical imbalance in like people's brains.
Okay, yeah, right. I'm the same way, right? Like something's going on. It's a natural explanation for that, right? Even though people are very convinced of their own demonic possessions and whatnot, right? I think something happens similarly with folks in the alien community, right? Where it's kind of like they kind of read into a lot of these stories, both scientific and non-scientific, and put aliens as the first and foremost explanation, right? Where I don't think it's warranted. And I think this is a similar thing that's happening here.
Well, I think that aliens are, unnatural. I don't think there have to be super.
Sure, but you get what I'm saying, though, right? Like, I'm not saying. First of all, I'm not ruling out the possibility of aliens. I'm not even ruling out the possibility of aliens for the story that you're talking about here, because, like, yeah, it could be. I don't know, but it can't be my first go-to explanation, because I don't have enough reason to believe that yet. Even if it's true, right? That's the thing about true things, or at least trying to be reasonable about true things. If you're trying to build a case against somebody, you can't just say, "I know they killed that person," because I just know it in my heart, even if I end up being right. Right? That's not good enough. You have to be able to demonstrate that with more than just circumstantial evidence. And in this case, it's circumstantial, I think, right? Where we're presenting one possibility out of a realm of a couple different possibilities. And then we present a bunch of other cases where aliens are one possibility out of other possibilities. And it looks like you have a bunch of evidence, but really it's all circumstantial at the end of the day, right? Like until we can definitively say, hey, this is aliens, you know, I'll be honest, it doesn't move me too much. And I don't think it should for you either.
Yeah.
Well, I think they should do further observations and see what.
Yeah. I think they do it every day.
Yeah, and we're with you on that too, Steve. You know, we're totally on the side of like, you know, hey, yeah, let's not stop looking, right?
Yeah.
Now, there may be some experiments or research ideas that aren't exactly worth the time or money, right? Because we could do other things that would you know, get us more answers, you know, faster, right? But generally speaking, yeah, I mean, Dan and I aren't saying, oh, well, close the book on aliens. They're not out there. Let's just move the fuck on. No, let's keep doing research. Let's keep looking and stuff. But the reason that we're still looking, right? The reason that we're doing the research still is because the current level of information should not be something that warrants a high confidence in that belief, right?
Yeah.
We may find it later through this research that all three of us are on board with, but we don't have it now.
Right. I think we can agree they need to give maybe more funding to SpaceX for more research and maybe go into space and explore, maybe do observations, you know, to where we could rule out atmospheric disturbances. So I think we should just maybe not cut so much into NASA funding and maybe give more to SpaceX research, space exploration research. I mean,
SpaceX is interested in space tourism. I don't think that they're actually contributing to like the same kind of observational research that other space organizations are. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but like, you know,
my understanding.
There's different, like not everybody that's building rockets to space is contributing to, you know, space knowledge, right? Like a lot of it just comes from observatories, like places that don't have any capacity to actually launch satellites and stuff. So, but anyway.
More space research. I think we are all on the same page there. So.
Yeah, we're on that. Anyway, Steve, you got anything else for us before we let you go?
No, but thanks. Yeah, thanks for taking my call. I got another call that's been beeping in, so I better take that. But hey, y'all have a happy weekend, everybody.
Thanks, Steve. You too. Appreciate the call.